The plan to massively overhaul the SSI, Supplemental Security Income Program, which will ultimately raise benefits for millions of beneficiaries. We have a lot of really good information in this video, so let's get into it right away. But quickly, before we do, if you haven't done so yet, or if you happen to be new here, first off, welcome to the channel, and please make sure to hit the subscribe button right down below the video. I am back every single day to keep you updated and as your daily advocate and your daily voice to do anything I possibly can to make sure that we are getting permanent raises to all of these beneficiaries like Social Security, SSDI, SSI, VA, RRB, and ultimately more relief in the form of stimulus checks or whatever else we can get Congress to do to help out low-income and fixed-income beneficiaries during this time. It's a scary time right now. There's a lot of people who are struggling, and we ultimately need more relief. So please make sure to hit that subscribe button right down below the video. I'm back every day, and I promise you I will do anything I can to help out everybody in this community. Thank you. I sincerely appreciate each and every one of you. Let's talk through this. So you probably know about this because I've talked about it a few times over the last few months here in reference to the SSI program. There is now this SSI Restoration Act that is floating around this group of 18 senators who have revisited the plan and are reopening it back up and thinking, hey, we need to reform this program. There's a lot of people out there who are struggling during this time, and we ultimately need to reform the program to raise benefits to 100% of the federal poverty line, which at this time is $12,880 per year or $1,073 per month, which would actually be a really nice raise to all of your benefits going forward, considering your current benefit is $794 as a result of SSI, right? So to go from $794 to $1,073 per month would be a pretty nice raise, even though more would be better. At the end of the day, I guess that's better than nothing, right? But either way, within this SSI Restoration Act, there's also a lot of other really good provisions that will actually help out all the beneficiaries, like removing the marriage penalty, raising the resource limits, and a whole host of other things. So here's the thing. I actually came across a really interesting article. There's actually a lot of really good information in there, which I want to share with you in this video because, once again, it shows the importance behind why it is so incredibly important and absolutely imperative that they come forward and reform this program as quickly as possible. Now, I know there's probably going to be a number of people who receive Social Security, like retirement, disability, or survivors, or maybe VA and RRB reaching out saying, well, what about us? Are we going to get something too? And I would say all of these programs are intertwined, as in they are all kind of commingled, right? They all kind of work synergistically all together. So here's the thing. If they reform SSI, there's probably going to be some translation into all of these other programs. So just the simple fact that all these people are coming forward wanting to reform SSI, I'm thinking, hey, this is probably a good thing across the board for all of these benefits. Social Security, SSDI, SSI, survivors, SSI, VA, RRB, all of it across the board. It's probably a really, really good thing. So with that being said, really quickly, I'm going to bring my wife in, Corey. She's going to read this article to you. I think it's very, very interesting. There's a lot of very good information in this article. And again, I want to come back with you in just a minute after she gets done reading it and go through some of the key takeaways out of this article. But once again, you're going to quickly see, oh yeah, it's obvious they need to reform this program. It hasn't been done in many, many years, and it is so obvious that all of these reforms and all of these adjustments need to be made to help out these millions of beneficiaries. All right, enough out of me. Corey, take it away, and I'll see you again in just a minute.
Hi, this article is from Yahoo News, and it is written by Stephanie Eskimos. Retirement, Social Security-related program needs a major overhaul, experts says. Social Security isn't the only federal retirement program that needs serious work, according to one expert. SSI, Supplemental Security Income, designed for people with very low Social Security benefits or for those who don't even qualify for them, hasn't changed much since it was signed in law by President Nixon in the 1970s. The program supplements Social Security benefits, which are earned through work. The maximum benefit tops out at $800 per month. Starting in 1972 and for every year since, SSI recipients can only keep $20 of their Social Security. Catherine Romig, senior policy analyst at the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, CBPP, said on Yahoo Finance Live recently. After that, their SSI benefit is reduced dollar for dollar. That's a big deal for people receiving SSI. That $20 hasn't increased for inflation since then. A majority of SSI recipients are people of color, particularly children, and adults with disabilities. By improving the Supplemental Security Income Program, it's a way of trying to mitigate some of those labor force disparities that we see by race, Ramig said. It's a way to help counteract some of the inequality that we see in all parts of our society. A major issue with the program is that it limits how much people can own in assets and have in their savings. At that time it was established in 1972, 401ks and IRAs didn't exist. We just weren't expecting people to save as much, Raming said. Individuals can hold a maximum of $2,000 in their savings, while couples can only have up to $3,000. Neither of these figures have been updated since 1989. If that had been increased just with inflation since 1972, it would be 4 times as high, Ramig said. Arguably, it should be increased even more now that we're asking people to save more, especially for retirement. The program also has additional rules that Ramig described as intrusive. For example, if someone is a recipient of disability benefits, they have a continuing disability review to ensure they continue meeting the medical eligibility requirements. They also have something of redetermination, Ramig said, which just makes sure that people continue to meet those financial criteria. Perhaps the most complicated rules, however, are the in-kind support and maintenance rules. This limits the amount of financial help an SSI recipient can get from family and friends. That may be a bag of groceries, maybe a room to stay in, Ramig said. And if they do, the dollar value of their benefits is reduced dollar for dollar. In order to administer a rule like that, you have to ask people all the time, are you getting a bag of groceries? Where do you live? What do you live with? Who do you live with? All kinds of intrusive questions asked repeatedly over and over. According to CBPP, less than 10% of recipients report receiving this kind of support, but every single SSI recipient is still asked repeatedly. There are no other federal programs that consider in-kind support when determining benefits. It's very expensive to administer, very prone to error, Ramig said. One thing that's included in this SSI Restoration Act is just getting rid of those rules. There aren't rules like that in any other federal program, and just getting rid of those rules altogether and allowing people to support their friends and family without being penalized. Calling for expansion and simplification, the SSI Restoration Act, which is currently in Congress, aims to upend some of the more outdated rules and bring the program into the modern age. By overhauling an antiquated system costs money, and by the Social Security actuary's estimation, it's about more than $500 billion over 10 years. I don't think that's probably in the cards for the kind of package that we're talking about right now at Capitol Hill, Ramig said. But, she added, addressing certain issues with the program, like the income and assets rule, it would cost less than $100 billion over the same period. That might be something that policymakers could fit into the package like the one they're discussing right now, Ramig said.
All right, so there it is. I don't know about you, but I think that article is incredibly interesting, and it just lays out all of the proof as to why this program needs to be reformed as quickly as possible. So as you can see, the inception of this program was way back in 1972. The last time it had a major reform to the program was in 1989. That was 32 years ago. Well, I mean, come on, people. What are they thinking? Seriously? A program to go on for 32 years without any kind of adjustments or reform? I mean, that's just nuts. So yeah, absolutely. At this time, they certainly need to come forward and make some adjustments to this program. Number one, ultimately raise benefits to what they said. A minimum of 100% of the federal poverty line, which is that $12,880. Removing the marriage penalty and ultimately raising the resource limits for all of these beneficiaries. Essentially what they were saying, I mean, all of you know this who receive these benefits, but I mean, to have a resource limit of $2,000 as an individual or $3,000 as a married couple, That's not very good. I mean, this program is literally setting up people to like put themselves into a really vulnerable situation. That's not fair. I mean, the program should be set up in such a way that people should be able to, get the benefits and ultimately be able to put some money aside for savings in case a situation like 2020 happens again, where, a lot of things happen and all of a sudden we need extra resources. Prices are going up like they are right now, and we need something to lean back on. Well, $2,000 as an individual or $3,000 as a married couple, it's not going to go very far, especially as your rent is probably about $1,000 a month or so. Well, you also need to eat and pay your utilities and all the other bills. $2,000 or $3,000 is not going to last all that long. Either way, at the end of the day, they are going forward with this reform on the program through the SSI Restoration Act. There's some really good things coming out of this right now, but I just wanted to bring you this article. I thought it was incredibly interesting as I read through it. I thought, wow, this just lays out perfectly why this program needs reform so incredibly badly, right? And I think for those of you who are receiving these benefits have probably been pounding the table for years saying, come on, somebody, listen up. We need an adjustment to these benefits. Nobody can really live on $794 a month. That's just not even fair right there, right? That's ultimately sad that they can even think that somebody could live on that every single month, right? I see all your comments down below. It's a really sad situation to see so many people struggling right now. So, anyway, I wanted to bring this to you. I thought it was incredibly interesting, very, very helpful. There's a lot of good stuff going on right now. There is literally so many different updates going on every single day right now across stimulus checks, stimulus packages, UBI, Universal Basic Income, GBI, Guaranteed Basic Income, reform to these programs like SSI, SSDI, survivors. There's so many different things going on right now. You got to make sure you're subscribed by hitting that button right down below the video. So, I will keep you updated. I'm going to go back to it, do a bunch more research here, see what else I can come up with. But yeah, there's so much going on right now. And ultimately, there's a lot of people coming out right now saying they ultimately want to introduce all of these anti-poverty packages to lift people out of poverty. Well, anybody receiving monthly benefits under $12,880 per year, guess what? You would be included in that because anybody under that $12,880 per year is technically in poverty, right? So wow. Anyway, I'll keep you posted. Thank you so much for your continued support. Make sure to subscribe right down below the video. Share this one with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of my other 1,400 videos right here on the channel. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you again in the next video. I'll see you later.